We are back, and we are in 4K now.
Ooh, you see the different
4K everything.
How's my makeup? We put on makeup for this episode.
I know. No more crow's feet. Nice
Watch
and
those
brushed.
nose hairs.
Yeah.
Watch the nose hairs on Brady. Got a couple ear hairs.
Look at that chest hair.
Ooh, that man got a
I
sweater.
wish mine was like mine's blonde, so you can't see it. I wish mine was like that. But episode 26, we're back. We have a special guest on today. We're gonna get into that in a minute. But first things first. Look at our heads. If you notice something, we've got on black BSG performance hats. Woo! These things are crisp. They're popping in 4K.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go to be.still.golf.com, hit the tab, hit shop, and it's right there. Get you one because every time we order, we're a small business. There's only a certain amount of each one. There's only like 5 left of the blue. So if you don't have it, get it, then get the black.
And if you live anywhere close,
Free delivery.
Free delivery, yeah.
Or pickup.
So we'll meet you.
Yep. So get you a hat because we're about to be wearing these in 4 days.
4 days, yeah.
In Texas, we on the road to Texas, baby. It's all coming to an end.
Finally here.
Finally.
Ready to play. Got my Vice balls, Vice glove.
Gonna look
I'm
sharp.
ready.
Sharp. Primo pants.
Primo pants.
Let us know where we should go next. I think we're already decided on Myrtle Beach, so it don't matter, but let us know.
Quick reminder while we're on that note. While we're gone, the BSG virtual tournament presented by 18 Birdies is now live and running to the end of this month in October. Go to be.still.golf.com and register under the Tournaments tab and then download the 18 Birdies app. If you don't already have it, we have a link on our link tree on the Instagram page. Click that link, select play option, and then enter the code 9800 to enter the tournament. And during your next round of golf, enter your score like you normally would to be entered to win one of the great prizes that we have from 18 Birdies, Proud 90, and we're even throwing in some BSG gear.
I was going to say there's some suspiciously low scores right now.
I know. I just saw that.
I did see that.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, mine was a scramble.
That was
I'm
another one.
I'm not eligible to win, but there's one.
Who is it?
Yes. Yeah,
Not Jonathan DeJesus. I went to college with him.
Really?
I never knew him for a
Is he
golfer.
a stick?
DeJesus, are you lying right now? I never knew you for a golfer. There's no, but hey,
handicap is a 9.4 and he's 11
This is a plus 9.4.
Is it plus?
Yeah.
it may be. He may have did one of those we did with Golficity where we just
Yeah,
kind of
I think
entered
it
some
was.
scores. That's okay. No, we're not
But-
bashing nobody.
Yeah, the tournament uses the Peoria system, so your overall score doesn't even matter.
Nope.
Be sure to complete your tournament round on a par 70 or higher by October 31st to be entered for this month's giveaways.
And here's what we'll do since Zach entered around. If Zach happens to win a prize, the first person to go to his last picture on Instagram and comment, "You are a great driver of the golf ball." He'll give it to you if he wins.
Absolutely.
That's all you got.
On his Instagram
No, just
page?
on his Instagram page.
Okay.
Last photo he put, and just say you're the best in BSG, and he'll give it to you if he wins.
Absolutely.
That's
I
all you
sure
gotta
will.
do. Which I'm going to enter. You've already entered around.
Yep.
Played a great course.
Wasn't great. Well, the score wasn't great, but this course was.
The course was private
Yeah,
club.
It was. I played two.
This
private
man's
clubs
moving
this
up. So yeah, that's what we got with that. So are you going to tell them about our guest real quick?
Yeah, I can go over that. I'm gonna. I
Okay,
kind of
you're
introed
right.
it pretty well, but yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Alan Watson.
Well, we hope you enjoy this. Thanks, Alan, for coming on, and here he is.
All right, today, guys, we want to welcome our very special guest, Mr. Alan Watson, to the show. Alan is the owner and operator of Golf Plus since 1995. Golf Plus began in Dothan, and it began as a pro golf discount franchise in 1988. The store was opened by Dr. William Watson and was then born into Golf Plus. In 2010, where they transformed the retail store into a custom fitting facility. Alan and his team focus on golf club fittings, club repair, and retail at their 2 locations in Dothan and Panama City. On their website, you can search through the tons of inventory in their online store, including bags, clubs, hats, shoes, and even golf balls. Alan is a large supporter of many local charities that include Action Ministries, the Harbor Church, Turkeys from Heaven, and many more. So we're glad to be joined today by Alan while he gives us an insight to what it's like owning and operating a full-time golf store. And now we're gonna jump right in. So welcome to the show, Alan.
I always got to ask guests
Hey,
first.
thanks a lot, guys.
Did he say everything right?
It sounded like it was all right. I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll make some stuff up, make it a little better, or whatever.
Perfect. He's our journalist / researcher, so we always got a second, check him, make sure.
Yeah,
he's
we
right.
want to fact check.
Yeah. So we'll let Brady.
That all sounded correct to me. It's hard to remember. I've been in the golf business for 27 years, so I can't remember half of what I've done.
Well, perfect. We're gonna let Brady run us through the flow. So go ahead.
First question I got is, what can someone who has never gotten fitted expect from the fitting experience?
Well, it's a little different for different people. So a lot of it is going to be depending on where you are with your skill level. So somebody who's already a skilled golfer is going to see more precise golf shots. They're going to see more consistency. They may see some things in their game that they've never had before if they were just playing off the rack clubs. They may be able to really dial in their distances and trust their clubs to do what they're supposed to do. Now, take it back to a more average golfer, because that's where most people are. Most people are going to shoot 85 to 100. So that average golfer, he's going to start to see things that he's never seen before too, like spinning the ball around the green, probably controlling shots. Again, some similar things to the better golfer in terms of consistency. Can I trust my 7-iron? Is it going to be the same distance every time? So many people are playing off the rack clubs that are too light and too flexible. So they might hit one really good shot. Then they might hit one that, because the shaft's so light, it causes the ball to spin too much. So then they hit it short, and then they might really just absolutely nut one time, and it goes too far. And so all of a sudden, you don't really know your distances because you've got a 150 average, but you hit it 130 one time and 170 one time. It makes no sense, right? So having consistent clubs and having custom-built clubs that fit your game really give you consistency, distance, not necessarily more distance sometimes, but that can happen. But just being consistent and being able to trust the golf clubs. So I kind of liken it to if you went and got new tires on your car or your truck, you would want all the tires to be the same. You would want the same branded model. You'd want the same tire pressure. You'd want all those things to match, because that's going to optimize. And that's really the key word. You're going to optimize your performance. If we put 4 different size tires on a vehicle, it's no telling how that car is going to ride. And so you could be the best driver in the world, but if your equipment's not optimized, then you're kind of handicapping yourself, to use a golf term there.
Oh, wow.
I saw on y'all's website y'all offer a couple of different types of fittings. Can you go over what those are? Like like y'all fit and order from the factory, and then the in-house builds.
Right. So once you've come in and had a fitting at either our Dothan or our Panama City Beach location, we do offer 2 options. And one is just where we order the club straight from the factory, which is the way it's pretty much always been done in the industry. Most people don't have either the time, the expertise, or the money or whatever. We invested heavily into build shops that have beautiful cabinetry, all the right equipment. Everything's organized like a tour van. You can roll all the drawers out and see all the shafts laid out and the grips and everything. And so doing that and having great builders in our stores allows us to offer another option where we charge you a little bit more money, but that's to pay for our time and our parts and labor and all that. And then we can hand build that set in-house for you. And if we do that, then that's going to ensure that everything is built to exacting specifications. Swing weights are down to the absolute, hairline. We use digital loft and lie machines, so everything's right. Not saying that the factories don't do a good job, but when we build it, we know we're building it exactly the way we wanted it to be, based on what we saw in the fitting. And so that's just, and then the other thing that does too is it can speed the timetable up a little bit, because sometimes factory builds in this last 2-year window, because of COVID and because of supply chain issues, it's been 6 to 8 weeks has been kind of the standard in the industry. With our in-house builds, sometimes you're looking as little as 2 days and maybe 2 weeks at the most usually. So
I was telling them earlier about I come to your Panama City location and met you, and you fit me for wedges, and then I had already been fit for irons, and I'd ordered them from Callaway, but the timetable kept getting pushed back, so I reached out to you, and you're like, yeah, we can build them. You're like, it costs just a little more, but you had a big line of integrity that stood out for me. You're like, we're real close, but the swing weights didn't match perfectly, so we pulled the heads off to make sure they were perfect, and I was like, this is where I'll buy my stuff for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly try. I mean, like I'm working on some clubs right now for a guy, and they are just jacked up, man. They're not right, and so we're not because we touched them. We're just now getting them, but that commitment to getting the clubs right and to making sure that they're going to work is something that we stand behind the work. If something ever happens, obviously that's not necessarily the player's fault. We're going to stand behind it, and we just we just want to do things right. I know it always sounds cheesy when we say stuff like that. I always tell people like it's going to sound cheesy when I say this, but you know, I have had bad experiences. You have had bad experiences, whether it's been in a retail store or a restaurant or an auto, store, whatever it is. We've all had bad experiences, and so when you have those, for me as a business owner, I teach all my guys, and the way that I do it is like, look, just channel all that bad stuff that ever happened, and then just go completely in the opposite direction in terms of how you take care of people and in terms of the kind of service that you want to provide. So, we know what's bad. Let's do good. That's what we try to do.
So that's what sets you apart from. I've been vocal on the podcast. I can't stand PGA Superstore, so that's why I need to go here. I mean, I need to ditch my culture guy. But I love that you care so much about the individuals and what they. Because I feel like some of the big retailers, like you said, they just want you in and out, and it's all about the profit in it. But I love that you, like for Zach, when he said that, I was like, that's what we need, more of that.
Yeah, and I don't have anything against the big box retailers. They have a place in this world, especially when you go into a big city. Like if you're in Jacksonville, Florida, or if you're in Dallas, Texas, you may be 2 hours or more drive time to a smaller independent retailer like us, assuming there even is one in those type cities. So a lot of times in those bigger cities, a Dick's Sporting Goods or a PGA Superstore, Golf Galaxy, whatever, is almost like a necessity. But let's face it, when you go in those type of stores, what do you see the staff doing? They're running around restocking shelves. They're running around straightening up displays. Mm-hmm. There isn't a lot of actual customer service going on. It's mostly just making the store pretty. And again, I have nothing but, respect for whoever, if that's their business model, whatever. But my business model is you come through the door, I treat every customer the same. We always assume that everybody's there to buy. And I don't mean that in a presumptive, like, I want to take your money kind of way. But in other words, I'm going to take you seriously. Because like our Panama City Beach location, for instance, it's a very casual town. It's a beach town. People are not always going to come in dressed like golfers. They may come in a bikini. They may come in swim trunks. They may come in. We had some frat guys in earlier today that were on fall break, and they're just wearing their casual, bumming around clothes. But we're still going to take everybody seriously, regardless of how they're dressed or who they are or anything about them. And then we're going to give them the service that we feel like they deserve and the service that we would want. And again, I don't want to, bore you guys with that point, but it is important to me because the thing about golf, like a lot of things, is I'm not selling Picassos. I'm not selling one-offs, right? You can go anywhere and get this stuff. Now, you might not get it fitted properly and built properly, but can you go find a stealth driver on every corner? Yes. Can you go get Scotty Cameron putter? Pro V1 golf balls? I can get those anywhere, right? So if you as the golfer have a myriad of choices and you can just pick up your phone, or you can get on a tablet or a computer, or you can call Carl's Golfland or whoever and order this stuff and get it sent to you, then what's the difference in my Pro V1 balls and that guy's Pro V1 balls? There is no difference. So me as the owner and my staff, we're the only difference. We're what's different, right? Because the product is not different. So that's why when you come in my store, we want that experience to be something that makes you want to come back. And we have customers from all over the country and all over the world, but especially from all over this country, as far away as Seattle, Washington, and New York and New Jersey and all over. And they vacation with us, or they come through our Dothan store when their kids are playing in a junior golf tournament or something like that. And then they'll call us months later. Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I was in there with my son, and you guys were just so nice that I wanted to do business with you. They're not going to pay. I mean, we don't charge any less than anybody else. We don't charge any more than anybody else. And again, it's the same product, but we're just trying to do it better.
And that's a big thing too, because I feel like as I've grown and like gained money career-wise, I want to be valued when I go in the store. I hate when I walk in somewhere and they're like, Okay, can I help you? No. Can I help you? No. Can I help you? And they just keep hounding you because they got to hit their numbers for the quota for the day, as opposed to going somewhere where it's like, hey, can I help you? What are you looking for? What do you feel like your weaknesses are, and
Yeah.
and just a different model as I've grown up to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Whenever someone comes into your store looking to get a fitting, do you give them like a default brand to start off swinging, or if they have something in mind, you kind of like let them go with what they have?
Well, there's kind of two answers to that question. One, we do use the Mizuno swing optimizer with every fitting that we do, regardless of the brand that they're going to be eventually purchasing. And the reason we do that is because Mizuno has spent the time and the energy and the money to engineer such a great shaft dynamic tool. And so with that, working in concert with our iPad, it's got the software, and you're going to hit 3 or 4 times, and it's going to tell us a lot about your swing, things that I can't see with my naked eye. My launch monitor will tell me how fast your club head speed is, but it won't tell me how hard you're throwing the toe down, or it won't tell me exactly where you're causing that shaft to kick. And so the things that I can't see, I need the computer to help me with. And so that's why fitting has become more science than guesswork, as it was in the old days. But to your point, we prefer if somebody comes in kind of with a rough idea of where they'd like to be. So if you're a ping homer, or if you just heard that TaylorMade had a great new product, or maybe you want to go super high end and go something like Mira or whatever, that's fine. You come in and you say, hey, Alan, I've done my research, and I feel like these are the 2 or 3 brands and models that I want to try and that I think might fit my game. And then as I'm going through the fitting with you, I'm going to make a suggestion if I see something that I don't necessarily agree with. But I'm always going to let you hit exactly what you want to hit. That's going to be part of the process, because for 2 reasons. One, I'm not smarter than you about your golf game. I might be smarter than you about golf. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not, I don't know. But you're the expert on your game. And so you know what kind of scores you shoot, you know what kind of course conditions you play under and all that. So if you come in and you say, hey, I'm probably not good enough to play a player's, small cavity iron, but I really just want to try one. Okay, great. So once we figure out the shaft, then we're going to hit several different club heads with that correct shaft for you. And so one of those might be the one that you picked. One of them might be one that I'm selecting based on your skill level or what I'm seeing. And then the third one might be just something we've talked about through our conversation, or maybe we just say, okay, well, if we're hitting this and we're hitting that, then this is a complementary club to that. I would say less than 10% of the time, somebody comes in and just says, hard and fast, it's got to be this. That's the only club I want. I just need you to fit me to it. That's pretty rare. We don't do a ton of that. After we get through the shaft part and test some different heads, that's usually where the customer will see whether the club that they came in thinking about is going to be good for them or not. I almost don't even have to tell them that, because they're going to see it up on the screen. They're going to see, well, gosh, this one club went further, or the dispersion was much tighter, or it just felt better. It's because you may come in thinking like, oh, I heard so many good things about brand X, but then you hit it and you go, oh, that wasn't exactly what I wanted. But we're totally brand agnostic. We don't care what you buy. I don't pay my guys commissions on individual sales. So nobody's going to come in and get sold at my store. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to get pushed into anything. And we give you walkaway power. When you come into one of our stores and you have a fitting, the only thing that you're responsible for paying for is the fitting. If you decide at the end of the fitting that you don't want to buy clubs, or you want to go home and think about it, we're not going to chase you out in the parking lot like barking chihuahuas and grab you by the ankles and be like, come on back in. What can we do to get you in some clubs today? Do I want money? Yes, I'm a retailer. At the end of the day, I have to make money. But at the same time, we don't want buyer's remorse. We don't want anybody to feel forced into anything. I always tell my guys, walk away power. You give that to the customer. And if they had a great experience and if they want to spend their money with us, then they'll come back. But we're not going to chase you.
Didn't you have a similar thing when you got fitted? You had a club in mind, right?
Yeah, I went in with a club in mind. Actually ended up getting a different club because after swinging them, it came down to feel, because the numbers were similar. It was the Mizunos and the TaylorMade P790s, and numbers were all similar. It's just the P790s, when I hit a bad shot, it was more forgiving online than the Mizunos were for me, my swing. Speaking of brands, real quick, I've got to ask you. We got to know, and you can short, simple answer, doesn't matter. PXG. We have a.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
kind of
not a
split.
fan.
Okay, that's all I need to know. We got to go.
Not a fan.
That's all I need to know.
I have an account.
Yeah.
I haven't used it in about 2 years. I used to joke with people that I bought my wife's first Mercedes with PXG money, and that's true. I made a lot of money the first couple of years with them, and now it feels like dirty money because their business model is so crappy. And I don't even, I can't even.
Do you think
it's just
people our age that are influencers in the golf world that are signing deals with PXG, is the money just good then? Because there's no way they're preferring PXG over
TaylorMade or
TaylorMade,
Callaway or anything like that.
I mean, I can't speak for anybody, but I would just assume it's a money play because Callaway and TaylorMade and Titleist and Ping, they are going to wrap up, and Mizuno even, they're going to wrap up the vast majority of their dollars in legitimate golf professionals. Not to take anything away from influencers, because I know guys like y'all, and I've seen some of those other guys online, can have a real true influence and really can cause people to come into stores and say, hey, I heard those guys online talking about this brand, I want to see that or whatever. So not to take any away from that, but if I'm Callaway or Titleist or TaylorMade, maybe I'm thinking more about Rory McIlroy than Rory Startup, and so it's like, I think that's where their dollars are. PXG is a little bit of a wild card, and so I think they're kind of just throwing stuff up on the wall and seeing what sticks. But PXG doesn't need anybody to promote the brand because they spend a ton of money on TV commercials, and they offer deals and discounts every 5 seconds. They're on sale more than Sears, and it just doesn't, it doesn't play. Because if you buy them one week at one price and then I buy them the next week at a different price, you can't call them up and be like, hey, my buddy got a better deal. Can I get a discount or a refund? And they're going to be like, no. It's just buyer beware with them, guys. Yeah. It really is.
I don't trust them because I know, like, my Stealth is still the same price it was 6 months ago, and my irons are still the same price they were last year. And it's like, if every single week they're throwing sales for a driver for $299 that was $499 2 weeks ago, it's like, where is their technology or R&D going in? Oh yeah, are they just trying to sell and keep pushing, or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The running gag in our store is when they launch a new line is, what's the over under on when these things go on sale? And with Gen 5, it was like less than 90 days, and they were already putting them on sale, and I was like, I mean, it's just not even funny. No. As a retailer in the golf business, I've been in this business since 1995, and I can tell you that the margins in our business are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. People think that, if they're buying a $50 box of balls, that I paid $25 for it and I'm doubling my money, and nothing could be farther from the truth. Same thing with a driver. They're like, well, $600. So they think I paid $300 for it. And again, nothing could be farther from the truth. The margins are horrible. So PXG saw that and said, why are we selling it to the retailer? And then they have to make a margin. We have to make a margin. We'll just cut out the middleman and we'll make all the money. But the problem with that is it's harder to hit your target numbers when you don't have PGA Superstore and you don't have Edwin Watts and you don't have all these independent guys like me. So if they had expected to sell, let's say, 500,000 units, and they've only sold half that number because they're not in any doors really except their own stores, then that's why they have these flash sales and whatnot. They go crazy. And I literally talked to someone who's inside PXG a year or so ago because I was mad about a price issue because a customer wanted me to match one of their online prices, and I couldn't do it because they don't give me the same deal that they give to the consumer. And so I called this guy and I said, hey man, what is going on? Like, why is this stuff on sale? It just launched. And he said, look, Bob comes in the office, the owner.
We know that. Bob Parsons.
Yeah, Bob Parsons. He said, Bob Parsons will walk in the office on any given day. This happened to be a Monday. And he'll just yell at them, put it on sale. And then that's what they do until he tells them not to. And that's why one guy paid, $179 a stick on Friday, and his buddy got him for $129 a stick on Monday, right? It's not a good business practice. It makes you look bad, and it makes the consumer angry. when we do sales and promos, they're prompted by the manufacturers, and we get a little bit of help from them to help lower our price. And it protects margin, it protects the brand, it protects the consumer. Um, for example, we're at the end of the 425 line from Ping, and they're on sale right now. And everybody that goes into any golf store can see that sale price. And everybody knows that Ping doesn't do sales very often. So, hey, that line's about to be replaced. It's not like a month from now the price is going to go back up. There's not going to be any product a month from now, So there's going to be a new line coming out at the end of January. But anyway, I digress.
In the last 20 years, what are some of the best times that you've seen in the golf industry, and also if you can name any bad times that stand out to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, Tiger Woods coming onto the scene in 97 was the big explosion for golf, not just because it brought African Americans more to the game, not because it just brought more children to the game, which it did all of those things, but it caused an explosion in television ratings, right? And then it caused purses to go up and all of that. So all these guys who are playing golf now and playing for $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million a week or whatever, they all need to be sending Tiger Woods thank you notes every time they get a paycheck. But anyway, so he caused one of the big explosions. The other big explosion happened 2 years ago with COVID. People were at home. People couldn't go to work. People couldn't go to bowling alleys. People couldn't go to gun ranges. They couldn't go to whatever the things that you like to do. And so golf was pretty much the only thing in America that was left open. And millions of people came to the game of golf. People that had played before, hadn't played in a while. New people got involved with their kids because their kids were home. And so it was like, let's go do something as a family. People would go to call their work buddies because they missed their work buddies because they weren't going to work to see them. And hey, what can we do this weekend? I don't know. Let's all go buy a starter set and go play golf. And so those two times, over 20 years ago and then 2 years ago were the two biggest explosions that I've ever seen in golf. And then the downside was there was a lull that happened right before Tiger and then kind of again several years after he came on the scene. There was a lull. I remember being interviewed for a magazine, for a golf magazine. They called me. I mean, this was 20 something years ago, or maybe not even that long ago. And they called and said, hey, we're doing an article on the state of the game, and how are sales and how are margin and do how many golf courses around you have closed in the last couple of years, that kind of thing. And you were literally seeing golf courses, probably 1 out of every 10 golf course closed, probably in the early 2000s. There just wasn't enough golf. There wasn't enough people to sustain all these courses. And obviously it's pretty expensive to maintain 18 holes and a clubhouse and a driving range and all that. So yeah, there's definitely been some lulls in the industry, but right now we're in a resurgence, and I'm certainly glad to be in the golf business right now.
That's for sure. Did you learn everything you know about like building clubs just by being around it? I assume that whenever I read your intro, your dad was the guy that started y'all shop.
Yeah. So my dad was a physician, but there was a building right next door to his doctor's office, and he did not want somebody to come in and buy that building and do something with it that he couldn't control because it had a shared driveway and a parking lot. So he bought the building not knowing what he was going to do with it. This was in 1987. And so we had lived in Birmingham when I was a young child. We had lived in Birmingham when he was in medical school, and there had been a pro golf discount franchise store probably 8-9 blocks from our house. And so that was my dad's place to go because he loved golf. And so when he started thinking about what to do with that building, he thought about that franchise. And so he bought a franchise. He never actually worked in the golf shop all those years. He just did the paperwork on the backside. He was kind of a silent owner. And so he had other people running the store for him. And then when I got out of college at Alabama in 95, which I did not finish, I do not have my degree, but I still get to cheer, whatever. So I came back home, and he was like, hey, my manager's leaving. Do you want to just see if this is something you like? And I had been in retail before in other things when I was younger. So I jumped in it, and then I just never really left. So that's kind of how I got into it. Now, to your question about club making, I went to school at a place that no longer exists up in Ohio called Dynacraft. Now it's called Herico, but it was a club, what do you call it, component company. And they sold heads and shafts and grips and all that kind of stuff. And they also did weekend and like midweek classes where you could come up to Ohio for 3 or 4 days and stay and, just be immersed in learning how to do that for hours a day. So I learned a lot of it just on the job. Then I went to school a year or so later, learned all that and got certified, and then came back and really kind of dove into it. And then with the club fitting stuff, we learn that stuff. It's continual learning. We're always taking classes online. All of the manufacturers have their own, like Titleist says, Titleist University or whatever. We take classes on that. And then, I don't know when it was, 10, 12 years ago, when I could sort of see that the industry was shifting into the more fitting scenario versus you just walking in and me saying, oh, you're 22 years old and you're 6 foot tall, and so you're probably young and strong and you probably hit it really far, so let's just put you in a stiff shaft. I mean, that was fitting 20 years ago, right? I mean, it was a joke. And we probably had 4 or 5 pieces per brand that you could test in our facility. Now I have hundreds and hundreds of shafts, and I've spent more money than I care to think about building, demo walls and all these shaft walls and all this kind of stuff. And, that's the industry's just shifted. You guys know, what it's like now.
So with that being said, do you or do you enjoy building the clubs or actually playing golf?
Well, I don't get to play a lot of golf, so I better enjoy building clubs. I really, getting out to play has been tough this year because just challenges with staff and whatnot, and not always having enough people. So like right now I'm in my Panama City Beach. Well, I'm at my home office right now, but I was in my Panama City Beach store this morning building clubs and working with customers and doing fittings. And I'll be here all week. And then Saturday I'll go to the Dothan store and work in that store because I'm short a man, that day. But I love building golf clubs. Like if I get to meet you and hang out with you and I get to talk about your game, I can kind of live vicariously through you in terms of the golf. I can sort of soak that up and that kind of feeds me. And then getting to build stuff for people, knowing that they're going to go out and use it and have fun with their golf game, that just, that's a icing on the cake for me.
So do you go to your Dothan location whenever when someone needs you there, or are you just traveling there like every couple of days and back and forth?
Yeah, it's back and forth. It's probably 2 days a week there and 5 days a week here. And some weeks it's a solid week in one place or the other. Like my operations manager is on vacation this week, and so he usually does half his week at each store. But without him, I just need to be down here. Plus, I was out sick last week, and so I missed several fittings. So I'm having to, try to make all that kind of stuff up for folks. But my wife lives in Dothan at our Dothan house, and I primarily live in Panama City for our beach store. So we kind of have to go back and forth so we can actually see each other and have a marriage. So yeah.
Do you let's see, where am I at? All right. How often, this is a question I actually thought about earlier today after seeing one of y'all's video. How often should like a weekend golfer like us check their lofts and lies on their clubs?
Well, if your clubs are cast metal, which a lot of game improvement clubs are, if they're cast metal, once a year, maybe once per year, or maybe once every other year. And especially only if you really notice something's out of whack. Like if all of a sudden your 8 and 9 irons seem to be going similar distances, then that might be a sign that something shifted. But it takes a lot of effort to bend a cast golf club. I have to lock it in a steel machine and bend it with a big heavy steel bar. So the thought that you could bend it by just hitting the ground repeatedly, unless you're hitting a parking lot, I just don't know how much you could really bend it. Now, forged golf clubs, which obviously are getting a lot more popular, forged golf clubs will bend a little easier. So definitely if you're playing once a week, I'd get them checked once a year. if you're playing 2 to 3 times a week, I'd probably get them checked every 6 months. Some of my better players that play a lot of tournament golf, they'll come see me 2-3 times a year, especially if something feels off. Or like I have one guy that, if he ever hits a root, which happens pretty often apparently, I don't know what his deal is. He'll call me and it's like, I hit a root. I just want to make sure, because now it's in my head that this club might have shifted. And it doesn't take but just a second for us to check it.
Awesome. That was something that I have heard about, but just didn't understand, like, if it needed to be checked on as often as we think it might need to.
No, usually if you're missing distances, it's probably because you changed golf balls and this new ball flies further or less, or conditions in the temperature of the wind, things like that. I mean, it would take a lot to make a golf club move. Now, putter, you give your putter a pretty good whack up against your shoe or against a golf cart or any other thing that, I wouldn't know anything about that, but I'm just saying if somebody could do that, then yeah, you probably. I had a guy bring me a putter one time that had moved 17 degrees, and it was jacked up. I said, I was like, "What happened here?" And he's like, "Oh, I think I leaned on it." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." But we can fix just about anything. I always tell my guys, we can't fix everything, but we can certainly try.
We've got like 4 minutes till the Zoom call, and so I just want to ask this real quick: has YouTube Golf been beneficial to your business, or have you seen anything like? Because it's on the rise now. Good, and all these other golfers, almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Has that grown the game in your eyes any?
I don't know if it's grown the game per se, but I know that it's gotten people like you guys and people like me and like my son who's 19 years old. It polarizes us, right? I mean, it gives us something to sort of tide us over until we actually get to play some real golf.
Yeah.
So I think it's great for the game. I think YouTube, I think, whatever format that people are watching, I think it's another level, because I don't always want to just watch the Bubba Watsons of this world or the Phil Mickelsons. I might want to watch average Joe go out there and see if he can, beat his buddies, or I might want to see a celebrity take on, one of the Rick Shields guys or whatever, that kind of stuff. So I think it's great. I'm excited about it. We use YouTube a lot. Obviously, we'd like to use it even more. It's just a matter of time to produce the videos, as y'all know. But I think it's definitely helped the business all around.
Well, Alan, we appreciate it. Notice we won't get into it, but he named 2 live golfers when he did it. But anyways, we won't get into that. No, we'll have to have you on again, and I need new wedges, so I'm going to have to come see you. Is that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll
have to plan a trip to
play some courses down in Panama City, and then go spend some time with Alan.
Or Dothan. Me and Jeremy made the day trip to the Dothan store.
RTJ, so wherever you guys want to go, y'all get with me. I'll come up there. We'll play some golf. We'll go by the shop. We'll do a private tour with you guys, let you see everything. We'll show you how we build golf clubs. Y'all can video that however you want to do it.
Perfect.
We'll do that.
Well, we'll get that plan.
That sounds great.
Well, thanks, Alan. Thanks for coming on. We'll have you on for another episode because I feel like there's so much we could talk about.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thanks a lot, guys. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you. All right, boys and girls. Notice I did say girls because I've forgotten to mention in the past that Proud 90 also sells women's polos in the same designs as the ones that we all wear. So, ladies, go check those out if you haven't already. So the Proud 90 polos are the above average golf polo for the average golfer, which we would most certainly classify under. The material has a 4-way stretch, so they're never getting wrinkly or crusty looking, like some knockoff brands.
Ooh. Shots fired.
Shots fired. I don't know to who, but I'm firing them.
To anybody that's not Proud 90.
Yeah. Order on their website today and get fast and free shipping. But remember, before you hit that submit button, enter our promo code BSG15 to save yourself 15% off your entire order.
The official polo of the BSG boys.
Official wardrobe.
That's it.
That's
we're going to be wearing them all in Texas. We're ready. I love the new drop. You can see a video on our Instagram about that. Check it out, new drop. But now we're going to get into the drop zone. Hit us with it.
All right. Drop zone question today. Is that good enough?
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right. What country do you guys think has the best golf?
I'm going to say it's the country with the most diverse landscape, east to west, north to south. USA.
USA. You know, he's over here. Live, whatever country. Dubai.
Dubai.
No, I think.
UAE.
I think people are going to hate if we don't say Scotland.
Yeah, I was thinking a portion of people were probably going to say.
But it's just flat. It's just links. That's
But I
all they
think,
got.
like, if you Ashley from the Fields, if you ask him, he's gonna say Scotland 100% because he's
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
We haven't been there.
We haven't seen it, but I believe since
I
that, I mean, that's
Augusta
gotta,
or Pebble Beach either, but I know what they look like.
yeah,
I think prettiest course is USA all day.
yeah.
If you-
Hawaii, mountain courses like Colorado.
Yep.
You got the flat open with Arizona's.
But I think playing wise, if you want to play the best courses, you have to go overseas.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I've never
There's
been.
a
so I-
reason the tour big money is here.
Well, big money.
The big
I mean,
non-blood money.
I was about to say DJ's got 18 million for playing.
That's all for what he was already paid.
Oh,
They just
yeah.
subtract it from that
It's,
bonus.
it's not even no fun to get into because they're not making real money anyways.
No, it's fake.
So what do you think, country?
I'd have to say, yeah, probably. I won't say Scotland just because I mean that's like where it's from. But I don't
Since
really
we're in
have.
the red,
I don't
white, and
have
blue.
any. I don't have anything to support my answer.
Because we've
but
never
I'm-
been.
Yeah, because we've
Probably
never been.
moon golf.
Who
for this
took
shirt.
foreplay
Yeah.
to Scotland? Who was their big ad?
I have no idea.
God, their Scotland series. Whoever took foreplay, do you want to take us to Scotland?
We'll go.
Please, we're here.
We're here. We'll
We're
go.
ready.
We got a 4K camera.
4K everything. You don't need to surprise.
Our content
supply
will be
anything.
just as good as foreplays if you want to take us to Scotland.
Wild Leap might be sending us there.
Ooh, Wild Leap. If
No, they can pay for us to play some Atlanta courses near their hub.
they, is that where they're at?
Yeah.
That's their headquarters.
That's it. We're trying to get the ad deal with them. Speaking of ad deals, we're going to run this real quick. The Drop Zone's presented by Warlord Beard Oil. You got a new flavor in. What'd you get? Sent?
Drop 30. No, is that?
He don't know what scent he
Shoot,
got.
I
While he's-
forgot the name.
Let me tell you real quick. You can use promo code BSG15 to get 15% off. This is a veteran-owned business in Mobile,
gosh.
Alabama. Maybe we can pass them up on the way to Dothan and go see them. Great guys. They have beard oil, pomade, body wash.
Dark 30.
Dark. That's a new
That's
one.
it. Dark 30. Joni loves it.
And that's the beard oil you got?
Yep, I got the beard. That's all I wear. I just wear beard oil. I hadn't bought any of the other stuff yet because I got Christmas, like the Axe and
Oh,
Old
yeah.
Spice bundles.
So you're still using them up?
Yep.
So make sure you check Warlord out. Use BSG15. The Drop Zone's presented exclusively by our friends at Warlord. So
Like, subscribe, follow, Be Still Golf, Proud 90 Warlord, BSG15.
next time you see us, we'll be in
That's
Texas.
exactly what I was about to say.
I knew it. I read it. I saw it. Don't forget to get your hat. Support us. Help us make our dreams a reality. BeStillGolf.com. BeStillGolf.com.
Be Still Golf.
See ya.
Peace.